So divorce can be quite a traumatic experience, particularly when children are caught in the middle of their parents' conflict. And for that reason, it's important to safeguard the children's well-being and their interests, because the impact, not just psychological, can also be emotional and can cause some long-term damage. Hi, my name is Anisha. I'm a partner at the family team at Withers in Hong Kong. As a partner in the family team, I predominantly specialize in divorce cases. Within that comes financial implications as well as high conflict matters relating to children. There can definitely be some long-term psychological effects. For example, they could go through extremely traumatic experiences. Unfortunately, that could sow a seed that, if it goes under the radar or possibly not treated, it could lead to emotional instability even when they go into their adulthood. And it could also have a long-lasting effect on how they perceive relationships when they grow up. Not only that, it could also lead to severe depression and also anxiety. So often, when I'm handling cases which involve children, and if it's in the right circumstance, I will encourage the parents to work with professionals. For example, a family therapist, where they can do some family counseling, or even work with a child psychologist who can help them come up with the right guidelines and tools to help them cope. But also, it's important for schools to be notified, and perhaps even the children can work with the school counselor. So in order to minimize the impact on children, we would encourage family mediation. I am a qualified and accredited family mediator, so I do tend to attend mediations with clients, and I can also conduct mediation. And what I have found effective is something called child inclusive mediation, where the lawyers, the mediator, and the parents work together with a child specialist, where the children are interviewed in a very informal context. And in the few family mediations I have attended where the child's voice have been brought into the process, it has often led to resolution, and which means that after reaching agreement on children's issues, the parents then can focus on the financial agreement and the divorce process. Now, other tools, which is another form of alternative dispute resolution, is collaborative practice. I'm also a trained collaborative practitioner, and that's another out-of-court process which I strongly encourage. I also tell clients that it's important to set some guidelines, co-parental guidelines, which they both should follow. For example, what if there's a new partner? What if there's too much back and forth between the homes and the parents cannot be aligned? There should be some clear guidelines on both parents should follow, but also what the children should know and what they should expect. And lastly, also the introduction of a co-parental coordinator. Now, this is someone who acts as a neutral third party, and this is particularly in high conflict cases where mum and dad cannot absolutely agree on anything. This neutral third party is trained to help the parents see what it is that's in the best interest of their children and to guide them to the right solution. A big part of this is definitely providing stability and consistency. That's very important, because if the parents are divorcing, ultimately there's going to be two homes, and the children need to know what they should expect. Of course, any access or care arrangements need to be age appropriate, but children, if they reach a certain age and they also get busier with their academic studies, they want to know which days they're going to see mum or dad, which days they have activities, which days they can possibly spend time with their friends, which days are available for them to have activities. So I do believe that, of course, the consistency principle needs to remain, but parents have an obligation to remain collaborative with each other. I mentioned earlier about parental coordinators. I really think it's important not just to work with a parental coordinator during the marriage, during the divorce, but also going forward. And that additional support can be a very helpful tool and can help parents to see that there is a pragmatic way of working with each other. It helps parties to move from that husband and wife role into roles of good co-parents. And that in turn can help them see that the decisions they're making are in the best interests of their children. I also think it's really important that parents have an ongoing obligation to keep learning, to talk to other friends who've gone through the process. If they feel that they need to go through speak to other people or attend a support group, they should do that. I often also think that it's important to do online parenting courses, and there are many available resources for that. So it is important to ensure that, again, if you think that there are some issues with your child, do seek the right attention, because they should be treated like everybody else, and an issue like this should not fall under the radar.